Hey everyone, it is time to look at the new shot detect algorithm in Moontrader. Conceptually, it is an evolution of the detect shot mode from the vector algorithm. I have a whole 5-part series on all the ins and outs of the vector, and it may be helpful to watch those first, especially part 5, to get a grasp or a refresh of the basic mechanics involving frames and subframes. In essence, the algorithm monitors price movements and, as soon as it detects a complete shot, it lets you place an order in expectation of the next shot based on the parameters of the first one. The key difference from detect shot mode in vector is that now your order can be not only static or fixed at a given price level, but also dynamic, following the price at a certain distance, much like a traditional shots algorithm. Let's look at it in 2 parts. Part 1, detect mechanics, or what makes a trigger before an order is placed. And Part 2, order mechanics, split into 2 subparts, fixed order and dynamic order. I'll try and keep it simple, focusing on the essentials. For shot detection, the algorithm uses a sliding window called a frame of a user-defined duration, always split into exactly 3 equal intervals or subframes. The frame itself has 2 dimensions, the aforementioned horizontal time duration and the vertical frame size, which is simply the range between the minimum and maximum price achieved anywhere inside the frame regardless of intervals. This will become important later. Each interval has a very specific function. Interval 1 is always the starting reference point used for determining shot direction. Interval 2, and only interval 2, is always used for shot size measurement. Interval 3 is always used for rollback measurement. The algorithm will not issue an order trigger until all 3 intervals have been closed and analyzed, each according to their function. Then the sliding window moves 1 interval over and the analysis starts again. An order trigger is issued only if all these parameters are validated as true at the same time for the same frame. Let's look at each of them. First, the shot range as a percentage measured strictly in interval 2. For example, this situation did not produce a trigger because the shot itself was split in time between intervals, so the movement in the 3rd interval did not count as part of the shot. A new improvement over vector is that now you can specify the maximum cap, not only the minimum. This means that you can define different conditions and actions for different groups of shot sizes. Next, the whole frame must contain at least this many trades and this much quoted asset volume. This can help prevent you from engaging at low activity and at low liquidity price jumps. Shot direction is determined by the relative price position of the first trade in interval 1 and the exact midpoint price of interval 2. This is up and this is down. Lastly, the rollback range, which now also has a maximum cap instead of just the minimum as in vector. It is calculated as the relative size of 2 values. Value A, the distance between the peak of the shot from interval 2 and the price closest to it from interval 3, and value B, the full frame size regardless of interval. So, the price opposite to the peak of the shot could be, in fact, in interval 1. Now, A, as a percentage of B, is the rollback value. So, even if the price does this in interval 3, the rollback will still be based on this shortest distance. Note that a trigger happens only and exactly once per shot event. There can be no continuous trigger state. It is discrete, one per frame. Well, that's actually it for the detection part. It feels more clear, compact, and focused than it used to be in the vector. At the same time, it is more versatile due to the max caps for shot size and rollback range. Actually, maybe a cap on the maximum quoted asset volume per frame could also be a nice improvement in flexibility. The next step in the process is order placement, which we'll take apart next time because it is very nuanced and deserves its own video.